Ready? Okay. Good morning. Good morning. This is the part where you say good morning back. All right, thanks. Happy Easter. Yeah. If you were here with us on Good Friday, Friday afternoon, First Presbyterian joined us. We left that service. We left the church awkwardly in silence, reenacting that Jesus' best friends, his merry band of men and women, saw him be taken into custody. Is that going to kill us? Okay. Yeah. I always thought it would have been an A. Yeah, okay. Is it still there? Okay, all right. Oh, okay. Oh. So we left watching Jesus be taken into custody and then actually crucified on any regular old Roman there. Okay. How about I do this too? I'll try one more time. The Jewish folks at the time would have taken their day of rest on Saturday, which means they stayed in their home, they didn't go anywhere, and they didn't work. So, the very first moment that they can break the Sabbath, they do. Sunday morning, as the sun is coming up, they race to the tomb where Jesus was laid, and he is not there. Some people couldn't believe it. Others, come on in. Others remembered that this is what he had said. The Gospel of Matthew records that there was an earthquake, that the ground, even the ground was disrupted. And as we look at the text of the resurrection this morning, we're going to notice that Matthew says that this event, that the disciples had great fear and great joy. And I'd just like you to hold that for a minute. They had great fear and great joy. Would you lead us in song? If you're able, why don't you stand and let's sing together.
Whose love is mighty and so much stronger. treasures of the earth. There's no way to measure what you're worth. Crucified, laid behind a stone, you lived to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. He took the fall and thought of me above all flowers, above all kings, above all nature and all created things, above all wisdom and all the ways of man. You were here before the world began. Above all kingdoms, above all thrones, above all wonders this world has ever known, above all wealth and treasures of the earth. There's no way to measure what you're worth. Crucified, laid behind a stone, you lived to die, rejected and alone, like a rose trampled on the ground. He took the fall and thought of me above all, like a rose trampled on the ground. He took the fall and thought of me above all.
Hey, go ahead and have a seat. On your table is the scripture for this morning. I'd like to read it, and then remember that 11 o'clock service here at Asbury is conversational. It's back and forth. Things we wonder, things we notice, questions that we have, reflections. I'll read it, but you can grab that paper and follow along. After the Sabbath, as the first day of the week was dawning, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to see the tomb. And suddenly there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descending from heaven came and rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothing white as snow. For fear of him, the guards shook and became like dead men. But the angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he has been raised, as he said. Come, see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples, he has been raised from the dead, and indeed he is going ahead of you to Galilee. There you will see him." This is my message for you. So they left the tomb quickly with fear and great joy and ran to tell his disciples. Suddenly Jesus met them and said, "Greetings." And they came to him, took hold of his feet, and worshipped him. Then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers and sisters to go to Galilee. There they will see me." It does not appear that this world or our life ends with resurrection. It doesn't appear that way. In fact, you can you can go stroll through cemeteries, and if your country has been around long enough, some of those tombs are thousands of years old. All of our lives are centered around avoiding too much heat, avoiding too much cold, getting enough food in order to survive. It doesn't feel like resurrection is the end of this world or this life of where we're headed. But there are some like fingerprints or whispers. And I'm not a guy who's like trying to how some people, there was a period of time where people were like trying to prove or disprove things based upon a certain set of assumptions of what counts as like what warrants belief in the case for Christ or the case for Christianity or whatever. This kind of proving thing. I don't say this in that sort of context to prove anything. I'm just talking about whispers or hints. Some hints that are kind of excite me, that remind me that maybe things aren't exactly they don't stay in the ground forever. One of them, I don't know recently if you've seen that people are experimenting with lasers that heal flesh wounds. So just so you know what that is, light healing skin. I think, well, wait a minute, light healing skin. I don't know what that's about. Or our bodies are made up of cells, different kinds of cells, but then certain cells make certain organs and whatnot. But all the cells of our body, they have these little, they're programmed, they have these little codes that are in the cells, and at the very end of those codes, as we age, they start to break off. And so that code that tells the cell what to do gets shorter, and it doesn't have the whole thing. Make sense? Okay. However, if you take cells in a laboratory and you keep replacing the code that breaks off the tip at the end, the cell never dies. If that code didn't deteriorate on the end, the cell would just keep living, right? Because it reproduces. Those types of whispers or hints, they kind of make me think, that maybe death is not the end. Maybe that's not all there is. And when I look at a passage like this morning, the angle that I want to head and what I would like to ask you to participate in is considering the resurrection through desire. Like, what are your desires? Maybe desires of your heart. What if we said hopes? Like, how about hopes and dreams? Your biggest hopes and dreams. Or the other side, what are the greatest pains or fears or griefs of your life? To angle in to resurrection through our hearts. When the text says things like, they were filled with fear and joy, tell me, you tell me, or you tell us, how do fear and joy go together? How is it that Matthew, writing in the first century, describing the situation that the men and women found themselves in, great fear and joy. How did, examine your own sort of hearts and desires. How do fear and joy go together in the human heart or in the human experience? Anybody? Tell me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Zip line, I'm going to say it through the microphone. Zip lining in Hawaii, you're up there pretty high. You're scared, but you're having the time of your life. That's interesting, isn't it? That they're both there at the same time. Where do we do that? Oh, okay. All right. Zip lining in Portland, yeah. Not quite as high, I'm guessing. Yeah. Okay, so what about the loss of a loved one? Whether that be partner, parent, friend. In that loss of a loved one, whether that be last week or whether that be 30 years ago, when you recall your life together with them, and remember they're stopped. So your experience with them has a start and a stop, but you haven't had a stop yet. And when you recall your experience with the loved one of who's now not here, don't joy and pain come from the same memories? What about other griefs? What about griefs that are current? What about war? Death, dying, destruction, bombs and guns, guns and bombs, right? There's grief there. What about grief or suffering or pain surrounding the realization that the thing that what is hoped for, if you're honest, is not going to happen? Not every time, but there's something in our lives at some point, and maybe not just one thing, maybe a couple things, that part of becoming whatever, mature or grown up, is realizing, oh, that thing's not going to happen. There's kind of a loss there as well. So what would it take for everything to end well? Huh? Okay, you say perfection. Let me say it this way. Knowing that things cannot be undone. You can't go back and undo something. And in fact, if we did that, we would lose our personhoods. Because it's both pain and joy that have made us into who we are. And so if we went back and undid something, we wouldn't actually be ourselves. And you can't extract grief or bad things from the past. Okay? So if you can't extract it, you can't undo it, you can't get rid of it. And if we tried to, I mean, we wouldn't be the same. We'd be like kind of be almost like making robots out of ourselves. We wouldn't be the same people. God does not have an interest in damaging your personhood ever. So how would you get to a place where everything finishes well? Say more. She says, can you? What else? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, I'm just going to repeat. As you're saying, as long as we are living in the world in its current order, and we are living as humans as we are now, we will make choices inevitably that lead to pain and suffering. Mm-hmm. For others, yeah. But if you were going to make all things finish well and end well, and what we mean by that is that everything works right. No one is missing anything. There's no lack of anything. If we were headed toward a place where uranium does not give you cancer, if we were headed toward a place where the sun doesn't give you a sunburn, if we're headed toward a place where if you walked past a bear, it would not attack you, or you wouldn't have, it's not going to eat you. If we were headed toward a place where there is no more racism or prejudice, headed toward a place where classes, certain classes of people don't have better health care than other classes of people, right? Headed toward a place where that's not the case anymore. If we were headed that way, what are some things that would be needed to get there? Can you use your imaginations? Okay. Hard to imagine it. Okay, whole different paradigm. Hard to imagine it, whole different paradigm. Change of heart, change of mind. I'll add change of cells. Transformation. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? That's the thing. I don't know that's what I'm hoping someone says, and then we say, wait a minute, we have to be ourselves. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you're right. Being ourselves just like this certainly doesn't. Yeah, it's not going to change. Mm-hmm. I shared some things upstairs with the group that I want to share with you as well. You know the guy that wrote The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe? Did anybody see that movie? What? Yeah, read the books too. He talks a lot about joy and pain. Where's my stuff? He talks a lot about joy and pain. Has anybody ever read anything by C.S. Lewis about joy and pain? Well, it's also interesting because his best female friend's name was Joy, who passed away. What he's going to get at is that this fear and joy that the disciples experience at the thought that Jesus has come back alive and is resurrected. He's going to say that our hearts, as we experience joy and pain, remind us that we are made for something better than this. And that if you really dig into your hearts and go deep into honesty and acceptance, go deep into desire, whether that desire be good or bad, just go deep into it. If you go in there, into the interior places of our hearts, what he's going to say is that we will recognize and realize that this isn't good enough. This situation. There's good things, but it's not good enough. It says things like this. That joy that joy he describes as like a sharp stab. That sometimes joy is a pain or a piercing sensation, not a soft, comforting feeling like happiness, but a sharp reminder that we are made for another world. Sometimes he'll say things like that these flashes of desire or longing are news from a country that we have not yet visited. Or that this space between desire and not being satisfied. So I have desire, and it is not met. That space right there can feel like both joy and pain. And that space is what needs filled with new heaven and new earth, with what needs satisfied with new bodies, what needs satisfied with no more tears, no more grief, no more pain, no more suffering, no more wars. Like that space between what you desire and that what will never happen before you die. That space right there is like a prayer. That a prayer where we are longing for and desiring things that we can almost imagine, and yet we know that we were made for. We weren't made for dying. We weren't made for hurting. A couple changes and our cells wouldn't die. A couple tiny changes and they would go on reproducing perfectly forever. The hope that light heals flesh wounds. Like all of those hopes, dreams, desires come with some unsatisfaction which feels a little bit like pain, which is the same thing as remembering our best friend who passed away, because the same memories are happy and sad. And in that space, he's saying, if you will take a leap or a journey, a deep dive into that place in your heart, you might find that the only thing that can satisfy that is resurrection. And maybe you hoped for it in a spiritual sense. And yet when Jesus comes on the scene, he says, don't just hope for it in a spiritual sense. God loves matter. Let's do resurrection spiritually, emotionally, mentally, environmentally, physically, physiologically, whatever components of the world. Let's not just say pie in the sky. Let's resurrect everything. And you know when he walks out, we're going to look at it in a couple weeks, you know Jesus in his full, whole, new, I don't usually use the word perfect, but I will this morning. It comes with a lot of baggage, but perfect body. Did you know it still has scars? Has scars on his wrists and wait a minute, a perfect, full, whole, resurrected body still has scars. And when you see him, he'll still have scars. And so will you. Because your personhood and the joys and the pains that made up our lives will still have made who we are. Except they'll be healed. And I don't know how that will happen. It is easier for me to consider resurrected eyeballs that don't need glasses and resurrected discs between vertebrae that never bulge than to consider having experienced pains that made us who we are and to have them healed emotionally and to not have tears or suffering any longer. Like, that is harder for me to imagine than for us to get remade bodies. How is it that we will have experienced all these experiences, and those will not have gone away, and yet we will be healed and in perfect relationship with ourselves, with the environment, with our neighbors, with the animals? To me, that's the bigger thing. And yet somewhere, and I don't know why, but somewhere in that space where you reflect upon memory, joy, pain, personhood, hope, desire, Christian writers for thousands of years have said that is where you will find resurrection to fill in all the gaps. So where are you? Where are you on Easter Sunday? What are you thinking about the text? What are you thinking about joy? What are you thinking about fear? Anybody? Yeah. Yeah. That it. Yeah, I like that, Tim, because what you're saying is, okay, say resurrection's where we're headed. New heaven, new earth, all things remade, everything works right. That's not where we are now, right? And the challenge of uh, the disciples that wrote the last letters and the prophets before them, the challenge that they sort of invite us into is, okay, we're not there, but could you live that way as if that's the case, even though it's not? Yeah. Could you live according to those values of there is enough for everyone? Everyone has equal value. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness. Could you live according to those values now when that is clearly not the order that we live in? The order we're headed to, but not what we live in. So what would it be like if those were your values now? Over the next few weeks, we are going to look at the way that different people came and approached and interacted with Jesus and came to belief in a variety of different ways in the resurrection. Probably one that you might be most familiar with is this guy named Thomas. He makes this statement: "Unless I see his scars and touch his side, I'm not going to believe it." You know. So what does Jesus do? He shows up and pulls his shirt up. You know. Put your fingers right here. Over the next few weeks, we're going to look at this offering of resurrection. Okay, right? But then what happens after? Jesus is going to come find you. So wherever you are on this, wherever you are today, no worries. Jesus is going to come find you. That's where we're headed next. Okay. Would you lead us in song? Send us home. Thank you.
Because you were forsaken, I'm accepted. You were condemned. I'm alive and well. Your spirit is within me. Because you died and rose again. I'm forgiven. Because you
Stand up for this last one.
It was my till I met
day.
work hard to get this right. Or let me focus to get this right. Your desire to be loved in a securely attached relationship is a petition for resurrection. Our taking care of abandoned animals is a protest against this current order and a petition for resurrection. Sitting next to the grave of a loved one where we think, I wish I had more time, is a protest against this current order and a petition for resurrection. The desire for temporary relief from drugs and alcohol is a protest against this current order and a petition for resurrection. Children that we love come into the world could not be a better picture of pain and joy at the same time. Petition for resurrection. And I think that our hearts are made to tell us this. So don't be afraid of both pain and joy. And I want to invite you to see them as justified protests. The desires of your heart, justified protests against the current order of the world, and as prayers and petitions for resurrection. All right. I love you all very much. Be sweet to one another. Be kind to each other. Go easy today. I hope that whatever it is next on your schedule is satisfying and a good time with loved ones. Be blessed. You're dismissed.